The film opens in the contemporary era. We are introduced to our protagonist, Jennifer, formerly known as Adaline, who seeks out a man skilled in forging identification documents, aiming to alter her identity once again. The man conducts his business without delving into unnecessary inquiries, although he does wonder why Jennifer insists on specifying her age as 29 when her appearance suggests no more than 27. In response, Jennifer simply expresses gratitude for his services and hands over the payment. Following this transaction, Jennifer returns to her home, revealing her solitary existence, with her cherished canine companion occupying much of her free time. The apartment is filled with relics of days gone by, including a portrait of a young man hanging on the wall and an aged wedding photograph resting on the nightstand. The bride in that photograph bears a striking resemblance to Jennifer. After tending to her dog, Jennifer rushes off to work. She hails a cab and, during the ride, offers the driver precise instructions to navigate around potential traffic snarls. This interaction hints at her deep familiarity with the city. The cab delivers Jennifer to her workplace, the Central Library, where she's responsible for organizing historical city newsreels. While immersed in her duties, Jennifer stumbles upon a film dating back to 1906, documenting significant events in the city's past. Intrigued, she decides to watch it, and, in the process, begins to recollect her former life. It emerges that Jennifer was born on January 1, 1908, in a San Francisco maternity hospital. At the age of 21, she visited the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge with her mother and encountered her future spouse. They married after just 87 days and had a daughter 3 years later. In 1937, a tragic accident occurred at the bridge construction site, claiming the life of Jennifer's husband among the laborers. A mere 10 months later, she was en route to visit her parents on a rural highway during a snowstorm. Struggling with poor visibility, Jennifer lost control of the vehicle and careened off the road at high speed. Plunging into icy waters, her body endured hypoxic shock, causing her heart to cease beating and her breathing to halt. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the car, yielding 3 extraordinary effects on Jennifer's body. Firstly, the electrical charge acted as a defibrillator for her heart. Secondly, it jolted her out of shock. Lastly, in a yet undiscovered phenomenon, her body became immune to the passage of time. From that moment onward, Jennifer would not age a day more. Years went by, and our protagonist would often share with those around her the secrets behind her enduring youthfulness, a steadfast commitment to a healthy lifestyle, a love for sports, and a sprinkle of good genes. However, her seemingly tranquil life took a twist when Adaline accidentally found herself on the wrong side of traffic laws. A stern officer relieved her of her driver's license and requested her presence at the local police station, asking for her birth certificate. In the wake of this incident, Adaline chose to uproot herself, relocating to the city's bustling heart and landing a job as a secretary at a prominent medical school. Here, she dedicated her efforts to unravel the scientific enigma behind her extraordinary condition. A year of relentless research led Adaline to accept her singularity, and she ceased her pursuit of answers. One fateful evening, Adaline found herself detained by the FBI, compelled to enter a police vehicle. The car transported her to an airport, where she was left unguarded. Swiftly and discreetly, she made her escape through the trunk of the vehicle. In a bid to shield herself and her daughter from the mysteries of her existence, Adaline decided to leave her hometown behind. She resolved to change her residence, identity, documents, and appearance every decade. Above all, she vowed to safeguard her secret, never divulging it to another soul. Remarkably, Adaline adhered to her plan faithfully for the subsequent 6 decades, bringing us to the present day. As New Year's Eve looms, our protagonist anticipates her 107th birthday. Owing to her unusual circumstances, Adaline rarely forges new connections. However, she maintains one faithful, blind friend with whom she has agreed to spend this festive evening. Within the restaurant's lobby, Adaline's gaze falls upon photographs from bygone eras, a place she herself graced in the past. These images stir a sense of melancholy within her, but she presses on, entering the main hall to support her friend's piano performance with warm applause. Seated at a discreet table, the two women exchanged their New Year's aspirations. At that precise moment, a young man approaches them, eager to strike up a conversation with the captivating Adaline. Her friend is taken aback, considering that she has known Adaline for decades, and the passage of time should have rendered her roughly the same age as Adaline herself. Before long, the young woman's path crossed with that of a stranger. A chance encounter that sparked an immediate connection between them. However, Adaline found herself unable to embark on a new romantic journey. As another decade neared its conclusion, it became evident that our protagonist would have to uproot herself once more, assuming a new identity. Overwhelmed by this impending change, Adaline decided to leave the gathering. In their parting moment, she shared a heartfelt farewell kiss with her friend, leaving them both with the unspoken understanding that this could be their final meeting. As she stepped into the elevator, Adaline found herself accompanied by the same charming stranger. He walked her to the exit, his attempts to arrange a future meeting falling flat. Once outside, he surreptitiously tried to eavesdrop on the address she provided the cab driver, but Adaline, anticipating this situation, instructed the driver to simply move ahead. The following day, Adaline met her elderly daughter at a quaint cafe. They sat down and discussed their plans for the future. It was revealed that the daughter had already crossed the age of 80. And the time was approaching when she might require constant care. Adaline, recognizing this, had deliberately acquired a countryside residence. She expressed her desire to spend the next 10 years there with her child, but the daughter, not wishing to burden her youthful mother, revealed that she had already found a suitable nursing home. Back at work, Adaline received news from a colleague about a local arts patron who had decided to donate a significant collection of rare books to their library. To her surprise, the patron turned out to be Ellis Jones, the persistent man from the party. He presented an unusual condition: he would donate the books to the library's collection only if Adaline agreed to go on a date with him. With little choice, she reluctantly accepted. Their date took them to the city catacombs, where Ellis shared stories about himself and his profession. When he inquired about Adaline's own life, she skillfully changed the topic and announced her intention to leave. Outside, Adaline disclosed her impending relocation to Ellis. In response, he proposed a wager: if he could make her laugh with his best joke, they would have another date, otherwise, he would respect her wishes and leave her be. In the end, Adaline couldn't help but burst into laughter at Ellis's humorous quip. As a result, Ellis extended an invitation for dinner at his home. Adaline kept her promise and arrived at Ellis's place in the evening. It was clear that both of them were genuinely pleased about this encounter. Ellis had created a warm and inviting atmosphere, and the evening unfolded beautifully. Later, while seated on the sofa, their mutual affection ignited, leading to tender kisses and an intimate night together. For the first time in a long while, Adaline experienced profound happiness, and after preparing breakfast, she headed to work. While on their journey, the taxi makes a stop at a place laden with memories. Years ago, within this serene park, a man had intended to propose to a girl. But to his dismay, the girl, upon seeing the ring, simply walked away. The resurgence of this memory brings a deep sense of melancholy to Adaline. It's at this point that our protagonist, Adaline, resolves to end her relationship with Ellis before it progresses further. From that day forward, the girl ceases to answer the man's calls and is conspicuously absent from work. As time elapses, Adaline begins assisting her daughter in preparing for a move into a nursing home. Amid these preparations, they share a heartfelt conversation. Adaline confides in her daughter, admitting that she's weary of a life spent on the run and deceiving good-hearted people. She yearns to lead a life like everyone else and wishes to embrace old age with a beloved companion. Her daughter, driven by a desire for her mother's happiness, implores her to stop evading and open her heart to someone who genuinely cares, as those who might judge her are long gone. Following this heart-to-heart, Adaline decides to invite Ellis on a date. This time, she takes him to an unconventional location, and amidst an incredibly romantic setting, our protagonists find their way back to each other. Over the weekend, they jointly travel to the outskirts to celebrate Ellis's parents' 40th wedding anniversary. Along the way, they pick up the man's sister, and the trio arrives at the parents' residence. Upon spotting Adaline, the father of the family is struck with astonishment. He approaches the girl and remarks that she bears a striking resemblance to a dear old friend of his, named Adaline. The girl is compelled to fabricate a story, explaining that this was her mother. When asked about her mother's well-being, Adaline sorrowfully responds that her mother has passed away. This news leaves the father deeply saddened, and he fondly recalls Adaline as an extraordinary person. As everyone disperses to their rooms, the father, left alone, begins to reflect on his past, reminiscing about the time he first met Adaline in late 1960s England. He shares with the girl that he had deeply loved her mother and had even intended to propose to her. However, on the fateful day of the proposal, she failed to show up and subsequently disappeared. Adaline confides that her mother had loved William greatly but had been seized by fear at the last moment. A few days later, as William was getting ready for a holiday dinner, he spots a familiar scar on the girl's arm, the very same one Adaline once had. It was from an injury sustained during their walk in the woods. Later, while going through old photos, he finds one where the girl's arm is bandaged. William starts to connect the dots, realizing this isn't mere coincidence. He approaches the girl, eager to learn the truth. Adaline, who hasn't been honest in a long while, finally opens up. She confesses that she couldn't reveal her secret to anyone because it would have led to unwanted experiments on her, which is why she had to leave back then. William pleads with Adaline not to run away again and not to break his son's heart. But, as soon as she steps into the house, she begins packing her things, unwilling to explain herself to the guy. The next morning, Ellis finds a farewell note, leaving him bewildered. He tries to get answers from his father, who remains silent about Adaline's secret. All he offers is that she had no other choice. Ellis admits he can't imagine life without Adaline, prompting his father to toss him the car keys. The guy sets out to find her. During her journey, Adaline reminisces about her past escapes and decides to return. At a crucial moment, a truck collides with their car as she turns. She's thrown to the roadside, and the truck driver flees the scene. Miraculously, just like it did 78 years ago when it snowed, Adaline's body temperature drops to 30 degrees, her breathing stops, and her heart ceases to beat. By all appearances, she's dead. A few minutes later, paramedics arrive at the accident site. They administer 750 volts of electricity, reviving Adaline. At the hospital, she finally reveals her secret to her boyfriend. And soon, an excited daughter appears in the ward. Learning that Adaline has entrusted her with the same secret, it's Ellis. A year passes, and our protagonists begin a life together. Today, they're off to a New Year's Eve party, asking their daughter to look after their dog. As Adaline gazes into the mirror, she spots her first gray hair, and her tears start flowing. On that note, movie ends. So friends, that's all in today's video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, peace out.